very fortunate today to have with us Dr. Gauri Mahulikar ji as the chief guest of today's program. She is a wonderful scholar, amazing person. We are very grateful to you, Gauri ji, for taking time for this session. When I first asked, immediately you agreed. I'm very thankful for that. Before I open the floor to you, just a brief introduction to the audience. Dr. Gauri ji is currently the academic director of Chinmaya International Foundation, Ernakulam, and she was previously the officiating vice chancellor and dean of faculty at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith. She was also the head of the Sanskrit department at Mumbai University and former head of Gurudev Tagore chair of comparative literature, Mumbai. Her publications include more than 80 research articles, 7 books, and more than 10 book chapters and more than 90 conference papers. She is embodiment of enormous scholarship, great wisdom, and humility all combined into one. And one of the go-to persons, very approachable person on all Shastra matters. Thank you very much, Gauriji, for coming on our program. You can please go ahead and start your inaugural address. Yeah.
So thank you, Indika Moksha and Nitin Nagarajji for inviting me. For last couple of invitations, I was not available, so I didn't want to let it go. Though I am on vacation, I tried, from my son's office. It's a very remote area, but then I could manage it. Thanks for the Ishwaranugraha for that. And it's wonderful always to talk on Indika Moksha and a topic like Swami Vidyaranya, like Impeccable Vedāntin. That is my topic today. And I'm very glad to inaugurate this unique one-day conference on Swami Vidyaranya. So let me start with Vidyaranya's ideal, Adi Shankaracharya. Yash Shankara Sakala Shastra Rahasya Vakta Bauddhadi Buddhi Tamasam Khalu Chanda Bhanuhu Abhyuddadhar Vigalat Shrutimarga Madha Bhumandale Vijayate Yati Sarvabhauma. Bhumandale Vijayate Yati Sarvabhauma. So with my pranams to Adi Shankaracharya, the lotus feet of Adi Shankaracharya, and Prati Shankara, who is known as Swami Vidyaranya, I try to expound few facets of his scholarship, his works, his biography, his works, and his contribution to the society at large, because Vedantins, as Shankaracharya has laid down, a precedence that they are not just in their own world and for their self-elevation. They always have tried and strived hard for awakening people and bringing the whole community under one umbrella of Sanatana Dharma. So that is the great contribution I feel. So I will try to focus on these three aspects, little bit of his biographical things, his works, and three main works I will be touching upon. He is like Sarvadnyassahi Madhava. That is what is said about him. So I will talk something about Anubhuti Prakasha, number one, then Jivan Mukti Viveka, and Panchadashi, one or two examples, and then my time gets over. So these are the only three works which I am touching upon. So Adi Shankaracharya is like a pole star. If he is like a pole star, then till 13th century India, 14th century India, India did not produce any other Acharya equal to him, let alone, who would be surpassing him. There is none who can surpass Adi Shankara. But then there was a child prodigy born, Madhava, by name Madhava, in 1295 in Warangal. And his younger brother reached Sringeri in the pursuit of knowledge and got initiated and became a Bharati Krishna Tirtha in 1328 CE. Then Madhava also followed him, and in 1331 he also got initiated. This is very unique. Two brothers in the same family getting sannyasa diksha one after the other. But then, because he was named Vidyaranya, forest of knowledge, such a dense forest of knowledge, then he was advised to go to Kashi. In fact, he learned Mimamsa from Bharati Krishna Tirtha, his own brother. And of course, Vidyashankara Tirtha, the Paramaguru. And then he went to Kashi. There he went to Badarikashrama, and like Adi Shankara met Bhagavan Vyasa at Badarikashrama. Similarly, it is said in the biography that Vidyaranya Swami also, I'll be calling Swami hence forward now. So Swami also met Vyasa, and Vyasa asked him to write bhashyas on all the Vedas. So he initiated, and then he was initiated into Sri Vidya also, and he started commentaries on the Rigveda, Yajurveda, etc. And then when he came back, he met two brothers, two sons of Mayana of Bharadvaja Gotra, Sayana and Madhava. History has spoken of three Madhavas. So it is very, very intriguing which Madhava is Vidyaranya. I quote few sources and then I leave it to the audience here. So he met two sons of Mayana Bharadvaja Gotra from Bellari, Karnataka, and handed over his unfinished works for them to be completed as Sayaniya and Madhaviya. Okay. According to this biographical account, which is on the official site of the Sringeri Mutt. This is on the official site of the Sringeri. That means this Madhava was the original author, or Vidyaranya was the original author of the Sayana Bhashya, and Sayana later on completed that. Okay, so this is one account. According to all other accounts, I have mentioned few sites also here. So, but popularly it is believed that Madhava, who became Vidyaranya, was the brother of Sayanacharya. Okay, and as a gratitude towards his brother who taught him Vedanta and other Vidyas, therefore Sayana always spoke of Sayana Madhaviya. So he attributed that to Madhava. That is one account. For Panchadashi, I have referred to K.P. Joe, Sartha Panchadashi in Marathi, very wonderful book. And he talks about three Madhavas in 14th century India. Okay, and all three Madhavas are well versed in Veda and all the Vedangas, all the Chaturdasha and Ashtadasha, basically Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. And he says that one is Mayana's son Madhava, who became Vidyaranya. He calls Mayana's son Madhava, that is brother of Sayana, who became Vidyaranya. Then there is another Madhava, who is the minister of Harihar and Bukkanna, and he also was a great author, and he wrote Tatparya Deepika on Suta Samhita as a Tika, because the colophon reads Veda Shastra Pratishthatra Shriman Madhava Mantrina Tatparya Deepika Suta Samhitaya Vidhiyate. So this is another Madhava. And the third Madhava was the son of Sayanacharya, who wrote Sarvadarshana-sangraha. So one Madhava, the brother of Sayana, who became Swami Vidyaranya. The other Madhava, the minister, not the same Madhava who fought, very bravely and was the minister of Harihar and Bukkanna. That is another Madhava. And third Madhava is son of Sayanacharya, who wrote Sarvadarshana-sangraha. So this is in the introduction of Sartha Panchadashi. And now Vidyaranya Swami, who was the Madhava, had two brothers. One was Sayana, the other was Bhoganatha. And Bhoganatha took sannyasa at a young age and was named Bharati Tirtha. So the official site of Sringeri and this account, they differ in some details. And Madhava wrote in his commentary on Parashara Smriti and that reads as Shrimati Janani Yasya Sukirtir Mayana Pita. The parents were Mayana and Janani. Sayano Bhoganathascha Mano Buddhi Sahodaro Yasya Bodhayanam Sutram Shakha Yasya Cha Yajuhi Bharadvajam Kulam Yasya Sarvadnyas Sahi Madhava. So this is the Parashara Smriti undertaking. So he became the Jagadguru Pithadipati of Sringeri when he was at the ripe age of 85. And he was there from 1380 to 1386, only 6 years, but he has contributed enormously for the Vedanta and all other things. It is not only Vedanta. If we see just a cursory glance of what are the works of Swami, we are really amazed. I mean, this is Gayatri Anugraha, or as the Vidyaranya Ashtottara Shatanamavali Stotra of 29 verses, it elucidates, it is the Anugraha of Srimati Mahalakshmi. So whosoever, but then he was really an amazing Acharya. So a versatile scholar, and he wrote on different topics on Vyakarana, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Dharmashastra, Nyaya, Smriti, Purana, astronomy, Ayurveda, and music as well. So there is nothing on which he has not written anything. And it is said that due to the anugraha of Gayatri Devi, he became Sarvadnya, Sarvadnyasahi Madhava. In fact, in the Devi Aparadha Kshamapana Stotra, which is normally attributed to Adi Shankaracharya, it has a verse which reads like Parityakta Deva Vividha Vidhi Seva Kulataya Maya Panchashite Radhikam Apanite tu Vayasi. Panchashite Radhikam Apanite tu Vayasi. Idanim Chen Matas Tavayadi Kripa Napi Bhavita Niralambo Lambodara Janani Kamyami Sharana. So this may not be by Adi Shankaracharya, because as we know, Dvatrimshe Mudirabhyagat, and therefore Panchashite Radhikavayasi. So this was by Pratishankara, we can call him, by Swami Vidyaranya. And then he was, as a Pithadipati also, there are so many contributions, but here I'm taking into consideration 3 of his works, as I stated. Of course, his Vedanta works are also innumerable. I'll be taking only 3 into consideration. The others, some of them, Nitinji also referred to, Vaiyasika Nyayamala, Vivarana Prameya, Jivan Mukti Viveka Panchadashi, of course, Anubhuti Prakasha, Aparokshanubhuti-Tika, Dashopanishad-Dipika, Brihadaranya Kavartika Sara, Brahmavida Ashirvada Praptihi, and so on and so forth. But then, as he also started, this is the Dhyana Shloka from the Vidyaranya's Ashtottara Shatanamavali Stotra. Avidyaranya Kantare Brahmata Praninam Sada Vidya Margopadeshtaram Vidyaranya Guru Shraye. So I just take resort to Vidyaranya Guru, who is the only, what you can say, torch bearer and pathapradarshaka for those who are wandering, in the Avidyaranya Kantara. So in the Avidya Aranya, only Vidya Aranya can help us. So Anubhuti Prakasha, radiance, luster, resplendence of Anubhuti, self-realization. That is the book. And this is composed by, for the easy understanding of the seekers. As the starting verse, it says, Atha Shri Vidyaranya Virachita Upanishad Tatparya Rupaha Anubhuti Prakashaha Brahma Vidya Suvispashtam Balabodhaya Tanyate. Balabodhaya Tanyate. So this is for an easy understanding of the seekers, of people of Alpamati. It has 20 chapters. It's a versical composition, Anubhuti Prakasha. And each chapter has, the gist of some of the Upanishads. So it is Upanishad-Sangraha Rupa, Sara Sangraha Rupa. It is not all the contents of the Upanishads are covered, but the gist of the principal Upanishads, that those have been covered. So in the 20 chapters, the first deals with Aitareya, the second with Taittiriya, third, fourth, and fifth Chandogya, great Upanishad. Then sixth is Mundaka, seventh Prashna, Kaushitaki, eighth and ninth, 10th is Maitrayani, 11th is Katha, 12th is Shvetashvatara, and 13 to 18 deal with Brihadaranyaka, 19th is Talavakara, and 28th is Nrsimha Tapani. So the 20 chapters in having the gist of 20, not 20, but some 17, 18 Upanishads, so to say. And Brihadaranyaka being the Svashakhiya Upanishad, and Brihatvad, Bharavatvad, like that. Brihatvad, it is dealt with in detail. Of course, in addition, Brihadaranyaka Vartika Sara is also composed by Swami. The style of Anubhuti Prakasha is simple. Really, it is unlike Panchadashi, because Panchadashi, some of the chapters are very simple, but otherwise it's very profound Vedantic text. But here, Anubhuti Prakasha is really Balabodhaya Tanyate, very simple and lucid style. And he quotes numerously from Bhagavad Gita and Smritis, especially Manusmriti. So this becomes a bit more, easy to understand. For example, to bring home the point of Chandogya, Eka Vidnyanena Sarva Vidnyanam, he writes in Anubhuti Prakasha, 3rd chapter, Go Pucha Matra Samsparshat, Go Sparsha Vratapurtivat. Go Pucha Matra Samsparshat, Eka Vidnyanena. So even if you touch only the Go Pucha, the punya or the happiness which you get, that of touching the entire body of the cow, So it is Go Sparsha Vratapurtivat. So it is like, caressing the entire body of the cow. Even if you touch only the gopucha, it gives you so much of solace as if you are touching the entire body. Then one more interesting thing he does is here, like we all recite the Shanti Patha, Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, etc. Before every meeting, etc. In Chinmaya also, we are used to reciting this. And we all know that this is meant for the Guru and Shishya together. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Tesvi, now adhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. But here Vidyaranya Swami gives a very nice interpretation of that, and how the ideal Guru and ideal Shishya should be, He points out what are the doshas of the Guru. Only 2 doshas he points out, and 2 doshas of Shishya. And even if they are adushta, there is no dosha, yet to have that ekatva vijnana, you need Ishvaranugraha. Unless you have Ishvaranugraha, though you are capable and you are adhikari, you will not get that. And he quotes, I quote from his work, this is from the, some are from 11th chapter, some are from the 3rd chapter. He says, Vagdoshat buddhi doshadva, vaktum shaknoti no guruhu. The Guru is not able to elucidate or do pravachana, or impart knowledge because of Vagdosha or buddhi dosha. These are the 2 doshas. And the Shishya, avishvasat kutarkadva, Shishyo bodhum na shaknuyat. Avishvasa, Gurau Nishtha, in the Pancha Vidyarthinam Gunaha also, Gurau Nishtha is the main thing. If you don't have Nishtha, Guru Aptavachaneshu, Vishwasaha, Shraddha, that Shraddha you don't have, then you can't gain knowledge. and kutarkadva, which Adi Shankara would say tarkabhasa or kutarka. So this is susangata tarka and shrutyanusari tarka is admissible and accepted, but kutarka certainly is not permitted. So avishwasat kutarkadva shishyo bodhum na shaknuya. And even if they don't have the doshas, the Ishvaranugraha should be there. And for that, what the Guru Shishya have to do in the 11th chapter, he says, Sahanau iti adi shanti japena Isha prasadataha nirvignau Guru Shishya ustaha tadrishau durlabhau khalu. So you have to do the japa of Sahanav. It is not doing the japa that is muttering only by Vaikhari Varna, but imbibing the meaning of that mantra. How many gurus are really there, who are not jealous of the fame or the, whatever, the popularity of their shishyas? We find very rare these days, There is some sort of hidden competition between the guru and the shishya. So what should be the real ideal relation between guru shishya? That also he points out during this Upanishad Sara-sangraha. Significant, and that gives you the whole and soul purpose, the prayojana of composing this work. He says, Shri Rugvedadi Chaturveda Vyakyatra Srimad Vidyaranya Swamina Vira Aneka Upanishad Artha Sangraha Rupaha Ayam Anubhuti Prakashakshaha Granthaha. So what is the purpose of this and how he has composed this, it is made very clear by Swami in the colophon bit. Now turning to Jivan Mukti Viveka, it's mostly in prose. Of course, there are a few verses and then the prose passages. So it is not a versical composition. And it has 5 main chapters: Jivan Mukti Pramana Prakarana, Vasanakshaya Prakarana, Manonasha Prakarana, Swarupa Siddhi Prayojana Prakarana, and Vidvat Sannyasa Prakarana. So these are the 5 prakaranas. And the text begins with the salutations to Vidyatirtha. It has multiple meanings, Yasya Nishvasitam Veda, Yo Vedebhyo Khilam Jagat Nirmame, Tamaham Vande Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram. So Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram, Vidyatirtha could be the Paramaguru, the Pithadipati of Shrungeri, Dakshinamnaya Pitha, who is the Maha Ishvara, okay, and who Yasya Nishvasitam Veda, etc. Or it could be the Maheshwara, Lord Shiva, who is Vidyatirtha, who is as if a Tirtha. Tirtha Tartum Yogyam Tat Tirtham. So with the help of Shiva only, you can think of crossing or going beyond this Bhavasagara. And he Nirmame Vedebhyaha Akhilam Jagat, etc. So this is the benediction, this is the salutation to Vidyatirtha Maheshwara, his Guru also, and Shiva Shambhu also. And the text is important for Vividisha Sannyasa and Vidvat Sannyasa. Now these two terms we come across first in this particular text. So Vividisha Sannyasa and Vidvat Sannyasa, of course, Vidvat Sannyasa is the more genuine detachment. This is Vividisha Sannyasa is for the seekers and Vidvat Sannyasa is for the knowers. One who has gone across the 3 Eshanas, the Putreshana, the Lokeshana, the Vitteshana. For them, Vidvat Sannyasa really holds good. So this is the differentiation between these two is brought out in this particular text. The style is argumentative, like the Mimamsa. So the style is very noteworthy. It's not as simple as Anubhuti Prakasha. This is argumentative style. And the pristine scholarship of Swami is really amazing. And the quotations from, now here is the text, Jivan Mukti Viveka, where the quotes from Adi Shankaracharya's works, Upanishads, and the Smriti just flow from his pen. From in Anubhuti Prakasha, there were quotations more from the Smritis, the Manusmriti and the Bhagavad Gita, here from the Shrutis. So that is the difference between these two texts. Then another very special thing of Jivan Mukti Viveka is the gradations of the sannyasis or the bhikshus, like Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Hamsa and Paramahamsa. The four gradations of the bhikshus. Bhikshu is not a one who lives on bhiksha or begging alms. As Adi Shankaracharya has stated in Chandogya, it is Swaswamitva Abhava. One who has given up the sense of belongingness, one who doesn't own anything, does nothing belongs to him. So he is really dashed person. Such a person is called bhikshu. And before Jivan Mukti Viveka has given these four gradations, we come across these gradations in Bhikshukopanishad, one of a minor Upanishad attached to Yajurveda. Again, the Svashakhiya Svashakhiya Veda for Swami. So there it comes in a, very small Upanishad, Bhikshukopanishad, but it gives you examples also. Who could be Kutichaka, who are called Bahudaka, who are Hamsas, and who are Paramahamsas. There are a few names also given there. So Kutichaka are like Gautama, Bharadvaja, Yajnavalkya, and Vasishtha. And how are they? Ashtau grasancharantaha yoga marge mokshameva prarthayante. So they eat only 8 morsels of food during the entire day and practice the path of yoga. And they are, their aim is moksha, moksha marge prarthayante. Bahudaka are another types of bhikshus, you can say, who have Tridanda, Kamandalu, Shikha, Yajnopavita, Kashaya Vastradharinaha. They are Tridanda, Kamandalu, Shikha, Yajnopavita also, and Kashaya Vastradharinaha. Brahmarshi Grihe, they stay in Brahmarshi, in the Gurukula, Madhu Mausam Varjayitva. Not having madhu and mausa, ashtau grasan, bhaikshacharanam kritva, yoga marge, mokshameva prarthayante. So these are the bahudaka. So what is the difference? They are doing bhiksha only, but they are they are having this tridanda, kamandalu. So these are the outward symbols of yati. Then the houses are those who don't stay more than a night in a village, not more than 5 nights in a city, not more than 7 nights in Tirtha Kshetra. So they are parivrajaka, they are pravrajaka, parivrajaka, and their diet includes cow urine and cow dung, gomutra and gomaya, and they always observe vratas like Chandrayana vrata. So they are called houses. And the Paramahamsas are like Dattatreya, Jadabharata, Shvetaketu, Shuka, and Vamadeva, who are Paramahamsa. They also take only Ashtaugrasan, 8 morsels, but Tarutala Vasaha, Karatala Grasaha. They reside under a tree or in a desolate house or in a cemeteries, in a smashana, and that is how they stay. They are not in Brahmarshi Grihe and all that. They have their own way of staying anywhere under a tree or in a cemetery or anything. And they may or may not wear clothes. They may be Digambara as well. And they are without the duality and solely committed to Atman. So these are the Paramahamsas. So these 4 varieties, which are given first in the Shukla Yajurvedi Bhikshukopanishad, are given again in the Jivan Mukti Viveka as well. So Swami has, clear this. He gives in the first chapter also, first chapter only in the Jivan Mukti Viveka. Swami has clearly stated that women also have right to renunciation either before marriage or after widowhood, not when they are grihasthas or grihapatnis, yajamana patni. So this is implied from the conversation of Janaka and Sulabha in the Moksha Dharma Parva of the Mahabharata. And in the Jivan Mukti Viveka first chapter after verse 13, this discussion comes where he opines that women also are entitled for renunciation. He makes use of some stories and akhyayikas to elucidate some point of the Upanishads, because Jivan Mukti Viveka quotes from so many Upanishads, like Shruti Vakyas are there. For example, in the Manonasha Prakarana, while commenting on the Manonigraha, he says, Samudra iva tittibhat, and then quotes further, Atra Sampradaya Vidaha Akhyayikam Achakshate. So the Tittibha story, we all know this has been quoted multiple times by many commentators also. So this is a Sampradaya Vidaha Akhyayikam Imam Achakshate. So the Tittibha bird, her eggs have been swept off by a tide in the ocean, and then she resolves to regain her eggs, and with her small beak, that Tittibha Stree, she takes one drop of water and pours it elsewhere, and looking at her efforts, how can a Tittibha will be able to dry the entire ocean? But looking at that, Garuda comes to her help, and he flaps his wings, and the water gets shoshita, evaporated, and this is how the story goes. So Sampradaya Vidaha Atra Akhyayikam Achakshate. So this he gives in the third Prakarana, the Manonasha Prakarana. In his masterpiece now, Panchadashi, I'll come to the Panchadashi. So uh, this is a very beautifully, but very, what you can say, profoundly written Vedantic text. And this is the essence of the Upanishadic principles and intrinsic Vedantic philosophy in his own sublime style. Swami writes it. This is metrical composition. I have referred to Sartha Panchadashi by K.P. Zog and Krishnananda's commentary online. So the metrical composition has 15 chapters and divided into 3 sections. They are called Viveka, Panchaka, and Ananda Deepa, So Viveka Panchaka, Deepa Panchaka, and Ananda Panchaka. So these are the 3 Panchakas. So 3 Panchakas, 5 chapters in each, making 15 chapters. The first section, Viveka Panchaka, deals with the entire Panchadashi. In a way, it gives you the Satchit Ananda Swarupa, the Swarupa Lakshana of Brahma. There is Tatastha Lakshana also, like Janmadhya Setaha and all. But this is the Swarupa Lakshana, Satchidananda. So the Viveka Panchaka gives you the Sat aspect. Then Deepa Panchaka gives you the Chit, the consciousness aspect. And then the Ananda Panchaka gives you the bliss aspect, Satchid Ananda. So this is the Satchidananda Swarupa of Brahman. And he here, in the salutation verse, in the Arambha Shloka, he says, Natva Shri Bharati Tirtha Vidyāranya Munishwar. I'm sorry. Commentary on Panchadashi by Ramakrishna Yati. According to him, only the first 6 chapters of Panchadashi are composed by Vidyaranya Swami, and the rest are composed by Bharati, his brother, younger brother. And then he writes there, नत्वा श्री भारती तीर्थ विद्यारण्य मुनीश्वरौ प्रत्यक् तत्व विवेकस्य क्रियते पददीपिका. So Bharati Tirtha Vidyaranya Munishwara Natva. So he bows down to both of them and then writes Pada Deepika. Every word he tries to comment upon. There is another commentator, Achyut Rai Modak, and while beginning the 7th chapter, he writes Tripti Deepakya Prakaranam Arabhamanaha Shri Bharati Tirtha Guruhu. So that means only 6 chapters have been written by Swami Vidyaranya, and from 7th onwards, 7 to 15, have been authored by Bharati Tirtha, his younger brother. So there is a twin authorship. But normally, when we talk of Panchadashi, Panchadashi is Vidyaranya Swami. So that is how the equation goes. The first verse of this Panchadashi is again a salutation to the Guru. Namashri Shankarananda Gurupadambu Janmane Savilas Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane. The first verse itself is very beautiful. Shankarananda, perhaps under him Vidyaranya Swami has studied. Certainly Bharati Tirtha has studied, and Shankara Tirtha must have studied. So this Shankarananda wrote 2 great works. One is, of course, which is a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, famously known as Shankaranandi, and the other one is Atma Purana, a description of the contents of the Upanishads. So these are the 2 texts written by Shankarananda. So here is the salutation to Shankarananda, and this verse, it could be split as in different ways. Shankaroti iti Shankaraha, Shanka, Shri Shanka. Is like Ra Sampradane, Ratehe, Ratihi Dhatuhu, iti anena Guruhu Ishtapradata ityapi gamyate. So this is the commentary. So it is not Shankara and Ananda. It could be split. Nirukta gives you so many ways to split and give nirukti of every syllable. Akshara samanyena va nirbruya, natveva na nirbruya. So Shankara and Ananda, of course, this is the first vigraha. But then Shankaroti iti Shankaraha, sacha Ananda rupaha Paramatma, sa eva guruhu. Saha manushyanam kamakrodhadi लोभ उत्सादन हेतुत्वात् स गुरुः इति उच्यते. सः दीक्षया शिष्यं परे तत्वे योजयति. स एव रातिः धातुः किं ददाति इष्टप्रदानेन इष्टप्रदाता इति रातिः इति गुरुः इत्यपि उच्यते. And Savilasa Mahamoha iti anena anartha nivrittistu sakshad eva kathita vartate. So this is how the commentators comment on the first verse of this Nandi Shloka. In the Mahabhuta Viveka, in the first Panchaka, Mahabhuta Viveka, Swami has explained. This is a very nice, while teaching Panchadashi, I simply loved this portion because it has come out. I mean, not who am I to say it has come out so beautifully, but then it really gives, the Pancha Mahabhutas in a very vivid manner. It explains. Otherwise, these are abstract things, except for the 3 Mahabhutas, which are Pratyaksha, the other 2 are Paroksha, Vayu and Akasha. So it is very, very difficult to comprehend and grasp all the facets of the Pancha Mahabhutas. I'll take one example, Shabda Gunam Akasha. So the Shabda of Akasha, all other bhutas, they derive Shabda from Akasha. Eka Gunam Akasham, Vayuhu Dvigunaha, then Agnihi Trigunaha, Apaha Chaturguna, and Prithvi is Panchagunatmika. So all five gunas, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasagandha are there. So how the Shabda Guna is reflected in the other four elements, he has given in a very nice, poetic, onomatopoetic words like Dhvanyanusari Shabda. He says the Dhvani, the Shabda of Akasha is heard in Vayu as Vayu Bisi iti Shabdanam. Bisi, when the Vayu blows, it has a sound. Bis, bis, Bisi iti Shabdanam. Vanhau Bhugu Bhugu Dhvani. Vanhau Bhugu Bhugu Dhvani. You know, in Marathi we say Bhag Bhagnarya Jwala. You know, Bhag Bhagnarya. So that Lap Lapnarya Jwala or Bhag Bhagnarya Jwala. So Bhugu Bhugu Dhvani Vanhau. Jale Bulu Bulu Dhvani. Bulu Bulu. When the water trickles down or flows down, it makes a sound. So that Bulu Bulu Dhvani, it's all Dhvanyanusari Shabdatva. And Bhumau Kadakada Shabdaha, when it quakes and trembles, Kadakada Shabdaha. Or maybe the trees, when they fall down, they collapse, then Kadakad Avaz Karat Vrikshansa Patanadala. So Kadakada Shabda, Vriksha is also Bhumi Tattva. So these are the Shabdas which he uses. It's a very poetic manner in which he explains that. There are so many other things. Before reading Panchadashi, I never knew that, we are quoting from Swami's work. For example, the Bhedatraya, the Svagata, Sajati and Vijatiya Bheda. We always used to teach, without knowing, it is from Panchadashi. Like, for example, Vrikshasya Svagataha Bhedaha Patra Pushpa Phaladibhihi. The roots, the fruits, the branches, the flowers, etc. It is Svagata Bheda. Vrikshantara Sajatiyaha. Damra Vriksha, the Panasa Vriksha, the Narikela Vriksha, Sajatiyaha. Vrikshatvena Eka Jatihi, but then Sajatiya Bhedaha. And Vijatiyaha Shiladitaha Ashmaditaha. So this also we used to teach, but then without knowing it is from Panchadashi. When I taught Panchadashi for the first time, I came across all this and it was like a eureka moment for me. I have been teaching without knowing it's from Swami's work. Again, the Vadato Vyaghata, we say, this also, is a very oft-used term in the Vedanta Shastra, for example. For that matter, in any other conversation, we have Vadato Vyaghata. You refute or retaliate what you have earlier spoken, or you wanted to establish something, and by your own words, you eradicate that, or you refute that. So he says, Shunyam Asit. When Buddhas say, Shunyam Asit, how could it have any existence if it is Shunya? So it is like Vadato Vyaghata. So some such examples of the oft-used Vedantic terms also we find in Swami's works. Of course, these are the simple things, but when you go to Tattvamasi and the Jahal Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana, etc., then the discussion becomes really mind-boggling. So that's why it is said that Panchadashi is a very, very profound text. It is easier to read Brahma Sutra Shariraka Bhashya by Adi Shankaracharya than reading Vidyaranya Swami's Panchadashi, sometimes people say. So this is an unblemished true Vedāntin, and he never thinks, as I said, it is not just the Nivritti Marga for himself and Svodhara, but it is for the whole mankind. And it is, and therefore, I always like the Vigraha of Shankaracharya, who is marching ahead with his stick, with his danda. Danda, of course, is Dharma Danda, but then walking ahead, it is a pravritti. Otherwise, the four mathas and all that, it wouldn't have been possible if he would have got engrossed only in his own elevation and self-development. So this is like a Pratishankara, and he does exactly the same. If Shankaracharya established the four mathas, he was instrumental, Swami was instrumental in so many Upapithas, the establishment of so many Upapithas. I give you some 2, 3 examples, especially in the Karnataka region, because uh, Swami and Vidyaranya, the Karnataka Samrajya, as Nitin said, are inseparable, are inseparable. Uh, it may be Madhava Mantri is a different, as Jog says, or it could be the same, whatever the case may be. Even if the Mantri is different, even then, Harihara and Bukkanna were great devotees of Swami Vidyaranya. It is beyond doubt. And therefore, this like Adi Shankaracharya, he also knew the importance of social awakening and gathering Hindu society under one umbrella of Sanatana Dharma. And Vijayanagar rulers, Harihar and Bukkanna, they were his great devotees. And the emperors made endowments and land grants and so many grants, for establishing mutts founded by him or by Sri Bharati Tirtha, his brother. In different parts of South India, especially in the Karnataka region near the Tunga belt. So, some of these became branches of the Sringeri Pitha later on, or the satellite centers or the Upapithas later on. One such Upapitha is that of Shakatapura. Shakatapura, the earlier name was Bandigedi of Shakatapura, and it was granted by Prince Chikkaraya or Virupakshaban of Vijayanagar. And why it is named Shakatapura? Because one Shakata Maharshi, he attained moksha at that place on the banks of Tunga, and therefore it is known as Shakatapura. And this is known as Badari Shankaracharya Samsthana. Shakatapura Upapitha is known as Badari Shankaracharya Samsthana because due to the foreign invasions, Sri Satyatirtha Mahamuni, the then pontiff of Jyotirmat at Badari, he came southwards and asked for the grant from the rulers, and that is when the grant was given. Another Upapitha is Hariharapura in the Koppa district of Karnataka, and it is about very near to Sringeri, just few miles from Sringeri. And this was initially an Agrahara, and Sri Ramachandra Saraswati was the first Acharya of this mutt established here. Then there is Tirthahalli Taluka, there is another Tirthamattura Matta. It also came into existence some centuries later under the guidance of Sringeri Gurus or as an encouragement of the Sringeri Gurus and the emperors. The Agraharas of Sringapura and Vidyāranyapura were laid out by Harihara II. About Kudali, of course, there is a difference of opinion. Kudali, according to some, is the Upapitha, but Kudali is the real Tungabhadra Pitha because otherwise the Sringeri is only Tunga Sringeri, there is no Bhadra, and Kudala in Kannada is, like coming together. Two rivers are coming together there. So therefore Tunga and Bhadra, and therefore the Matha which is established there is the original Tungabhadrayaha Tire as the Mathanushasana says, Mathamnaya says. So that is one opinion. And another thing, Ubhaya Bharati, who followed Mandana Mishra, Sureshwaracharya, and Sureshwaracharya came and stopped near the Tungabhadra Tire at this Matha. And this is there, then she also stopped there. And this is a very unique murti of Sharadamba in a standing position. Otherwise, Sharadamba is seated. Even in Tunga Sringeri, Sharada, if you see, she is seated. But here, it's a unique form of a standing Ubhaya Bharati or Saraswati. And secondly, this Kudali Sringeri Matha has Avichinna Parampara of some 72 Shankaracharyas. Now, recently, May 20, 2022 or 23, no, 22, May 2022, Abhinava Tirtha, Abhinava Bharati Swami was appointed as the 72nd pontiff by the 71st pontiff, and I had a great fortune of meeting this Abhinava Shankara Bharati in Bangalore just in this month, 2nd of January. So there are so many stories, but otherwise Kudali could have been an Upapita according to some. Kudali, according to, of course, Kudali Sringeri is the original Dakshinamnaya. So this is about the social, the Pithas and all. On the political front, Sri Vidyaranya Swami graced, Vidyaranya's grace helped in the formation of a Hindu empire under the Kshatriya Dharma, Kshatriya Teja of Harihara and Bukkanna. And the socio-religious front, to begin with, worship that had been suspended in several temples, including the famous temple at Srirangam, Trichy, and Meenakshi Madurai, they were restored and restarted by Swami. And there are a few inscriptions found in Mysore. They speak of grants given to the temples under the direction of Vidyaranya Swami or in the honor of Swami. And from then on, Vijayanagara emperors and their officers carried out renovations of hundreds of temples in the vicinity. This rejuvenation is credited, obviously, to Swami. Secondly, till this period, in the history of the Shrungeri Sharada Pitha, that is the Tunga Shrungeri Pitha, the Jagat Gurus were engaged only in the intellectual, what you can say, Adana Pradana, teaching of the Vedantic Upanishads, Vedanta, and the principles of Upanishads, etc. And purely spiritual, but from Vidyaranya Swami on, they also took to preserving proper modes and methods of worship and divine services to temples and guiding socio-religious activities of the millions of disciples so as to bring them under one umbrella of Sanatana Dharma. So the resplendent jewel amongst the Jagat Gurus, Sri Vidyaranya Swami, was the head of the Shrungeri Mutt only for a short period of 6 years, but because of his association with Sri Bharati Krishna Tirtha, his predecessor Jagadguru, and his own younger brother, for over 50 years, he left an indelible mark in the history of Vedanta and in the history of revival and rejuvenation of Vedanta and the temple activities, in South India. And he has seen the tenure of three Pithadipatis, Vidya Shankara Tirtha, Bharati Krishna Tirtha, and Vidyaranya, himself. So under these three Jagat Gurus, Shrungeri Sharada Pitha, which is now flourishing, it gained its prominence from thereafter, from these three Gurus. So that's what I want to end with. So this is the Vidyaranya is rightly considered as one of the brightest jewels in the illustrious Guru Parampara of the Shrungeri Pithas. And there is this Ashtottara Shatanamavali Stotra. It is available. It comprises of 29 verses. And some of the namas are very, very significant, Sarvatantra Swatantraha, we have these many times, Sarvatantra Swatantra, Saraswata Samudharta. So many nice adjectives have been used to him, for him. And it gives at the end that it is Vidyaranya, Jagat Pujyaha Sadanandaha Sakshat Shankara Rupa Vrit Mahalakshmi Mahamantra Purashcharya Parayana. So when in the beginning I said, Sarvadnyasahi Madhavaha, because of Gayatri Devi's Anugraha, here the stotra says it is Mahalakshmi Purashcharya. So this is the only difference of opinion, but no doubt about his omniscience, his Sarvadnyatva, and therefore I would like to end with Vidya Vidya Vivekena पारं संसारवारिधेः प्रापयत्यनिशं भक्तान् तं विद्यारण्यम् आश्रये. धन्यवादः. नमो नमः.
Thank you, Gauriji, for a very, very wonderful, excellent presentation, taking us through a 360-degree view of Swami Vidyaranya's life and contribution, a very wonderful introduction to this symposium, wherein we will be more focusing on his works rather than on his life. So this introduction filled that gap of touching upon his life as well as his works. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for this wonderful address. Yeah.